Yo guys, welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel. 8 points. 8 points. That's all Inter need to take us to the promised land, to the dream land that we're waiting for 11 years. 8 points, which is 2 wins, 2 draws, or to make life easy, 3 Ws. But in life, nothing's ever guaranteed apart from death and taxes. So the last couple of stumbles Inter have had, the 2 draws in a row, means that, we can't rest on our laurels. The players can't relax yet. Antonio Conte needs to keep these guys going. And we're here to preview our next challenge, our next match against HELLAS Verona at home, 2 p.m. UK time kickoff. And before we get into that, guys, I just want to show you some stats comparing this season to previous season, show you really how much we've improved over the years, and show you really how much Interisti have suffered over the last decade, really. So this is a very handy statistic website that I use often on my channel. You guys will know about it, soccerstats.com. It lets you compare different seasons. You can see the current season, 2021, 32 games played, 23 wins, 7 draws, 2 losses, guys. And I was pointing this out with Anthony and the guys from Inter Worldwide. Inter are the team that in the league, in the top 5 leagues, have the least losses. Less than Bayern Munich, Lille, PSG, Man City, all of the leaders of the different teams of different leagues. We have the least losses. And obviously, great goal difference, 71 goals scored, 29 against. But this is what I'm really interested in, the comparison from last season. And you can see the same point from last season, 32 games played, we have plus 8 points. Which is a massive improvement, to be honest. And you can see even in the goals, we've got 3 more goals than last season. And we've also conceded 5 less goals, which is really good to hear. And you have half the losses compared to last year, which we had 4 at this point last season. And you can see the improvement from the Spalletti season, plus 16 on both of them, pretty much doubling the improvement from compared to last season. And then, my goodness, and you have the absolute desert that we went through, especially this 2014-15 season. My goodness, what an awful season when you look at it. Plus 31 points compared to that season. And my God, our attack must have been so stale. Like 48 goals scored only, and then we conceded 38. We almost conceded as many goals as we scored. My goodness, how bad we were back then. It really puts that into perspective. And then the last good Inter team really was from the 2010-11 season, the last time we won a trophy. And even then, look at the stats there, 7 losses, 58 goals scored, 35 conceded, not particularly great stats. And we were on plus 13 from that season. And that was, as I said, the last, good Inter team where we still had Milito, Eto'o, all them man there. And then moving on, comparing to the league averages, points per game, 2.38, that's 1 more point per compared to the league average. 72 win percentage, 6% defeat percentage, so low compared to the 38 league average. Look at the goals scored per game, 2.22 compared to the league average of 1.52. Goals conceded, less than 1 goal conceded per game, and then 2 great stats here. Lead defending ability. Inter have taken the lead 30 times, have conceded an equalizer only on 7 occasions, corresponding to a lead defending rate of 77%, and an equalizing ability where 11 times that Inter went behind, Inter managed to score an equalizer on 9 occasions, corresponding to an equalizing rate of 82%. So when we go in front, chances are we're not gonna lose the lead, and if we go behind, there's a very high chance that we'll catch up on those guys. So great testament to the mentality, to the change in mentality of this team. Never say die attitude. So different compared to different seasons. And these are the tables where I'm really interested in. Obviously, this is the one we care about. Top of the league, 76 points. But I'm greedy, guys. I'm greedy. I want these guys to be mentality monsters. I want to be on top of every single one of these tables. So we're the best informed team at the moment, the most informed team, 20 points from the last 8 games. So we've not let up, even though we've got the last 2 draws. We're still the informed team of the league. Our home record, this is where we're going to be top. Obviously, we're Juve here have played 17 games at home, whereas Inter really played 15. So we've got, a few games to catch up on them to be top of that leaderboard there. And then, take over from AC Milan in terms of the away form as well by the end of the season. And then offense, this one's going to be difficult, guys, because Atalanta really starting to get into gear. They've overtaken us the last few games. Now they've scored 73 goals, sorry. We have 71. Napoli caught us up with the 5 goals they scored against the Lazio the other day. But I still think we can take that. This Hellas Verona game could be a good chance to stat pad, so to say. And the defense, this is the most important one. We have to beat Juventus on this one. I want to be the team with the best defense statistically. We have the best defense anyway. Juve at the moment are on the exact same goals conceded on 29. Closest is Napoli, so we're pretty safe there. We're definitely finishing either first or second, but I really, really want to finish ahead of Juventus on this one, guys. Moving on to the preview for the Hellas Verona game. Hellas Verona, a tricky team to play in theory. One of the surprise packages of the season. Even Juric did a great job with this team at the start of the season, but as I often say, this is probably the case why the Serie A should be reduced to probably 18 teams, to an 18-team league, because at this point of the season, there's so many teams at this point that have already achieved their objective. Hellas Verona, their objective is to be safe. I know that the leaderboard maybe looks like they could be going for Europe and stuff, but the quality of that team, what Juric has done, is absolutely amazing. Achieving safety so quickly, being in the top half of the table for so long, and then now the players, they don't really have much to play for. It's hard to keep these guys motivated when they don't really have anything to play for. The reward for finishing in higher places is there's only 500,000 or 1 million per spot in terms of difference prize money, which is not particularly motivating for the players. They probably don't have any bonuses related to that kind of performance, and that shows in their performance recently. In the last 6 matches, they've had 5 losses, which is pretty bad. They have more losses than wins, and they have exactly the same amount of goals conceded as they scored. So they have a 0 goal difference. And as we can see here from the head-to-head recently, there's not much history there. Inter have had much better head-to-head against Verona since they've come back to the Serie A. Only wins for Inter, and there was a draw last season, and then this season again away to their stadium we won. It was a tricky win. They're not particularly a bogey team for Inter historically. Moving on to the predicted lineups, pretty much the exact same as always. As you guys know, Conte's deal now, he's not going to change, and quite rightly so. Exact same lineup as the Spezia match, but Sky Sport Italy here have Alexis Sanchez starting instead of Lautaro Martinez, which makes sense. Lautaro probably needs one of the strikers actually needs a rest. They've been both playing almost every single match, even though Lautaro is the one that usually gets a little bit more rest. It'd be interesting to see, what do you guys think? Should Lukaku get some rest, especially after the stinker he dropped last match? He had so many goal scoring opportunities, looked a little bit leggy, a little bit off the pace. He is, I'll keep saying, his physique, the way he's built, so heavy, his metabolism, he's the one that probably needs more rest than Lautaro. Lautaro usually gets subbed around the 70th minute anyway for Sanchez, whereas Lukaku always plays 90 minutes. Pinamonti or no one else really gives him a break. So I wouldn't mind seeing the midget false 9 duo up front, Lautaro Sanchez. I do quite like that dynamic. I prefer it to the Sanchez Lukaku. I feel like Sanchez and Lukaku, I always say this, even though they seem like they get on off the pitch, they seem to be good friends, but on the pitch they don't seem to be on the same wavelength. Sanchez goes for different ideas than what Lukaku usually looks for. But if we go with this, I'm pretty confident, as long as it's not the 3-4-2-1 that Conte went for last time we played Hellas Verona. That did not work. That was an experiment, a weird experiment that Conte went for with Perisic and Lautaro behind Lukaku. And it did not work. Perisic looked like a fish out of water, when in theory it should really be a better position, that one, instead of being the wing back. But yeah, now Perisic looks like a proper wing back, and I'd rather not try that formation anymore. Same back line as always, Handanovic starting, even though I've seen a few people wanting Radu starting, Andrei Radu, but the deal, guys. He's the captain. We do need someone that challenges him seriously, that just like Juve have the Buffon Szczesny dynamic. Napoli have the, Ospina Meret dynamic. There's a real challenge. If Szczesny messes up, Buffon's been playing recently because they're confident in Buffon doing the work, even if Szczesny isn't there. Whereas Conte, clearly, it's not really a statement on Radu's goalkeeping ability. He's shown that he's a decent Serie A keeper when he was at Genoa, but it just seems like Conte or Conte's goalkeeping coach staff, they don't clearly rate him as much, and the fact that Handanovic is the captain kind of makes it trickier as well. But happy to continue with Handanovic to the end of the season, and want him to be, lifting that Scudetto trophy finally. Midfield keeping the same, although some reports, I think Tuttosport and a few other outlets have mentioned that Eriksen might be given a rest, who's been starting almost every single match recently, for Stefano Sensi, who has been making good impacts when he's played recently. So I wouldn't be against that. I wouldn't be against giving Sensi some playing time. I liked what he offered against Cagliari. He didn't get any minutes against Spezia, so he would be raring to go, trying to impress before the end of the season. We need these kind of players who have got something to fight for. Let's not forget, Sensi's spot at Inter is not guaranteed, especially due to his injury history. So he has a point to prove, and these kind of players with a point to prove in the squad are always, they're always handy to have at this point of the season, where players, as I keep saying, I feel like some of these players are kind of getting a little bit lethargic, a little bit, complacent. They can see the Scudettos almost in their hand. The hunger is not quite there. So some of these players who are still hungry to, win the spot in the team can be useful. And the wing backs, Hakimi, Perisic. Happy to see Perisic back fully fit, and reclaiming that left wing back spot. For Hellas Verona, they have a few injury issues. We have only Vidal and Kolarov out at the moment, but they have Kalinic, Ronaldo Vieira, Ceccherini, who's an important defender for them, Levato, Miguel Veloso. He's a very big miss for them. He always balls out against us, and Stefano Sturaro. So yeah, they're having to chop and change quite a bit. Barak is their top scorer. He's the guy to keep an eye out for me. He's the his runs from midfield, those are the ones that are always tricky for defenders to watch out for, because you don't know when you have to absorb those runs from midfield, and he's very good at those. He's good in the air, good at making those late runs into the box. And Zaccagni as well, he's a talented player. And Kevin Lasagna, even though he's a guy who struggles to score, he's one of the worst finishers I've ever seen in Serie A, but his pace and his movement is always a big worry, and he always seems to play better against the Inter than he does against other teams. Who scored has Di Marco starting on the left wing back position, and this guy at that time, he scored that amazing goal against us when he was at Parma, and he's got a point to prove against us, like Faraoni, who used to play for Inter. So those are the two other players to definitely watch out for. But overall, I'm not particularly concerned by this Hellas Verona team. As I said, they don't have much to play for. Inter still, chasing the Scudetto, chasing the win, hopefully chasing the win with some hunger. So I am going for a 2-0 win for Inter at home. Hopefully a goal from midfield. If Sensi starts, I'm predicting a goal from Stefano Sensi, getting his first goal of the season. Otherwise, maybe Eriksen getting another one in. That would be nice to see. And then Lukaku returning to goal scoring, after the stinker he dropped last match. Hopefully to see him restoring his goal scoring form. And I want to see some improvements from Barella. It's been, 4, 5, maybe even 6 matches now that he's been dropping a 6 out of 10 type of performance. I'm seeing people starting to draft up their team of the season teams, or midfielder of the season, Serie A MVP. It's that time of the season, and I'm seeing people still including Barella in there. But if he keeps dropping 6 out of 10's performances until the end of the season, I'm going to struggle to give him best midfielder or MVP if the likes of Milinkovic, Savic are still performing at a high level for Lazio, even though they lost the other day, but he still played really well for Lazio. Kessi still playing really well for Milan. Rodrigo De Paul's balling out for Udinese, even though they've secured their place in Serie A. I want to see a little bit more consistency at high level from Barella. But still had a great season. You guys let me know your predictions down in the comments below as always. And now we'll finish off with just some Inter related news and some Steven Zhang related news, which we haven't had for a while actually. So yeah, as you guys know, Inter looking for some cash injection, some capital injection in Inter, some investors to come in. According to Sempre Inter here, Inter on advanced talks with Oak Tree Capital Group over 150 million euro deal to ease the club's financial problems. Has been reported by Bloomberg, so pretty trustworthy source. And they say that the company's had several meetings over the last month, and people close to the matter suggest the deal could lead to Oak Tree becoming Nerazzurri's new minority shareholder. Remember, this is probably to buy out the minority deal, the minority shares that Lion Rock Capital at the moment hold within Inter. Around a 31%, I think, percentage it is. A representative at Oak Tree declined to comment, which is, that's the usual deal. But there was also a report in the French media that said Inter were negotiating with US investment firm King Street over a deal worth around 250 million. And we'll have to see, guys, what happens. Something needs to happen, and one of these deals needs to materialize really for Inter's financial stability. And I've been telling you guys, this summer is going to be tricky, guys. It's nice talking about the DePauls and different players that we need, Robin Gosens, but honestly, as the report says here, you should expect a summer of austerity in the transfer market. Last summer it wasn't, apart from Hakimi, it was Arturo Vidal, Kolarov, low cost deals. I'm expecting another summer like that, honestly. I know some of you guys think that the media portrays Inter's financial difficulties more than they are, which is true, but it is really difficult for Steven Zhang to get capital out of China due to the change in regulations of the Chinese government. So there is truth to the financial difficulty of Inter. And that's why Antonio Conte said he will have a talk with Steven Zhang at the end of the season with the board, with Marotta, with Ausilio, to see where the project is, see what can actually be done, because there needs to be clarity from Conte's side of things if he wants to stay. He still has a 1-year contract left to run, which I'm expecting him to honor, especially in a pandemic. I don't think any of the club's going to be looking to sign him on the wages that he has, especially as his salary will be increasing next year. But he's probably going to have to just deal with the fact that it's going to be another summer of not much spending, making the best of what he has, which he's really good at doing, if he's honest with himself. And speaking of Steven Zhang, he's expected to come to Italy. He hasn't been in Italy since the pandemic. He hasn't been in Italy for a while, because he would have to self-isolate for a week or 2 weeks. I don't know what the rules are at the moment in Italy, but he would have to do something like that coming from China. And he's coming to sort out a few things. The sponsorship deal, guys, is an important deal at the moment. Pirelli are going to be gone, so we need someone to come in to replace the 26-year collaboration. Will end on 30th of June. Samsung remain in contention to become the next shirt sponsor, even though there's also talks that they could be sponsoring the Serie A VAR rooms, which is funny. And there's also other shirt sponsors that are interested. So that's a very important deal that needs to be concluded. Hopefully Steven Zhang and the team can sort that out before the end of the season, so we can actually see what the new shirt looks like with the new sponsor before the end of the season. And yeah, Steven Zhang, obviously the main reason he wants to come is to lift that possible Scudetto, cup. That's the dream moment for him, coming back and, closing off the season in style, and then seeing what they need to do in terms of, will they have to sell? Will they have to, bring in more investment? Let's see what happens, guys. But yeah, overall, looking forward to the match tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be a better spectacle than last few matches. I'm expecting more goals. I'm expecting more chance conversion from the guys, and I'm expecting, positive news coming from Steven Zhang in the camp to keep the positivity going from this season. You guys, let me know all your thoughts and comments in the comments below. As always, what do you make of the formation? What do you make of the match tomorrow? What do you make of the Steven Zhang, and who do you think the next sponsor should be? Actually, that would be interesting to see what you guys think about that. As always, guys, I will see you for the post-match reaction tomorrow, which hopefully will be a positive one. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you for the next one. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter.